Welcome, Take It Up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Deboshree Dutta, who is the Chief Product Owner of CSI Platform at PayPal. CSI, tell us what does that mean?
Thank you for having me on your show, Jessica. So CSI stands for Customer Success and Insights Platform. Essentially, it's our customer service platform for all of our customer base. That's about 250 million PayPal users. So I focus on the area which is used by our teammates or the customer service reps. That's about 12,000 of them. Sort of improving the experience for these guys and in helping them solve and resolve issues for our customers as quickly as possible.
Okay. I know customer success is a very hot topic for a lot of people because you are talking about ongoing revenue, right? That's retention, upsell, cross-sell. So it's a very important role. But there's so much data, and maybe we hopeful you just go into like, what is this platform? What can an agent rely on?
Very much. So what we try to do at PayPal is try to offer up the most relevant information up to the teammate when they are on a call with the customer. So this depends on how much information we've collected about the customer during their journey on PayPal. That takes into account historical data, that takes into account what their most recent actions were. So a lot of times they call in saying, well, where's my money? Or I filed for a refund. When am I going to get the refund? So tracking some of their most recent actions, we are able to sort of surface to the teammate that this is possibly the reason why they're calling. Here are some recommendations for you so that they can pick up the call from there. Our whole motivation for doing this is to improve the relationship between the teammate and the merchant or the customer calling in. So they don't have to sort of answer or ask a lot of questions, which is kind of annoying for the customer. So that's the idea.
Right. And when I think about my experience because I'm a PayPal user too.
Thank you.
I usually want to research for my own answers first. So I assume that your machine learning is also the engine behind feeding that self-help content. Is that correct?
Very much. What we try to do is we have multiple initiatives to sort of help our customer. So I understand there's a lot of customers don't want to actually call in. They want to be able to resolve the issue on their own. So there's a whole self-service initiative where we have a chatbot where, again, depending on all the data that we already know about the customer, we try to surface up the most relevant recommendations. If you're looking, for example, to file a claim, here's what you can do. So the chatbot will sort of recommend, and you can quickly sort of click on the link and go ahead with it.
And how do you measure that service? Do you get feedback? Do you have like stars rating up or down? Or
we have, we essentially look at the resolutions. How quickly was the call resolved? How many times we look at like recontact rates? How often did a customer have to come back to us to resolve the same issue? And obviously we have NPS where the customers give us like ratings and things like that.
And do you provide different service level to merchants versus the consumers?
We have various segmentations. So we have different segmentations for our merchants. We have different segmentations for our customers depending on the kind of engagement level, the kind of volume they bring in. So yeah.
All right. Well, let me ask you this question then. I know a lot of people are using data to do machine learning, improving automation and accuracy, improving the engagement quality, right? But what have you found that's surprising in your work?
Several things. One of the key things that motivates me is, our customer service reps are working so hard to appease the customer. And the customer is normally on the call when something's wrong, right? So what we try to do from our end is we realize that often the tools that our service reps have are very bare bone. They mostly sort of surface you the information that isn't enough to sort of help build that relationship, build that loyalty. So what we're trying to do with machine learning is surface that relevant information so the teammate not only has the opportunity to resolve the issue quickly, but within record time, they're now able to start thinking about, well, maybe based on your current situation and the engagement you're bringing in, do you think that this other product will help you enhance your business and help you make your, improve your revenue opportunities? So kind of help bringing in that relationship with the customer, as well as obviously opportunities for PayPal. We believe that bringing in a brand new customer through a sales representative is significantly more effort than when a customer service rep already has the person on the call,
Right.
they're establishing relationship, they're helping resolve an issue. So they are in the best position to actually understand and empathize with the customer and then offer opportunities that are relevant for them.
Right. So it's a better return on investment, right?
Very much.
Okay.
And it makes sense for the customer because they're not being bothered by sales calls, but more with someone who they trust, who they've just had received some help from.
Mm-hmm. And it's a timely recommendation.
Exactly.
It's relevant to the conversation already.
Very much.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. But what challenges do they face then?
The biggest challenges we're facing is that accuracy of recommendation, because right now we're relying on teammates, working pretty much off of their, discretion, and the number of products that PayPal is rolling out, not everybody has sufficient time to get trained in all of these products, which is where if we feel that based on our understanding of the customer, if we surface the right recommendation to the teammate, they know where to pick up from. So there's some trust in the system, and then they apply their, conversation, content, and intent, and so on, and then drive the conversation from there.
Okay, wonderful. Sounds very exciting.
It is.
How big is the team?
It's about 12,000 teammates. Globally. We primarily serve the SMB segments. There are, of course, mid-market and larger enterprises, but the area that we focus on is primarily SMB.
Okay. I want to turn to something else that's very dear to your heart, which is the Women in Product, right? It's one of the largest organization, over 12,000 members.
Yeah.
You're a founding member of a chapter?
Yes. So Women in Product is essentially, backed by board of directors from Facebook, PayPal, Twitter, Google. So this is a foundation that came together about 3 years ago. It's really because product management is such a hot area in the Valley, especially in the tech sector.
Yes.
And we realize that there's a hunger for more knowledge, for more networking opportunities, to learn about the art of product management. And in general, improving diversity in this role will help us, have more female product leaders going forward. So that was kind of the motivation behind it. And initially it started out more sort of, more like an online community with some conferences that happened yearly. And then we broke off to have several chapters. And San Francisco Bay Area is probably one of the largest congregation of product managers, especially women product managers. So one of the first chapters I was established was the one in the Peninsula region, the Bay Area chapter. And me and a couple of my co-leads were the founding members, and we established the overall strategy. We've already had events with Google, PayPal, and now we're already in talks for like several events throughout the year. The purpose of these events is not just panels and networking, it's also sort of sharing knowledge. So we run things like, doing design thinking workshops, things that are relevant and tactical information for product managers to take away and implement in their day-to-day.
And you probably do like leadership training or coaching.
Yeah, so we kind of look at this as an opportunity for product managers that are in all levels, from entry level all the way to senior leadership. So depending on the segment of people that are interested, we have events that come from just being very social to being like mentorship circles and so on. So we have a lot that we're excited to go off and do. So
Is there an event coming up you want to share with the audience?
There is an event. There are 3 events coming up. I will, follow the dates because we're still figuring out the dates, but we have one coming up in June, one in July, one later in August. There's the conference that's coming up as well. So keep an eye out for, Women in Product. And
Is it womeninproduct.org?
.org.
Okay,
yes.
There you go. The other thing is I want to say congratulations. You are now in the Forbes Council.
Yes, I just heard, and it's definitely an honor.
You've been invited.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And what is the Forbes Council? Tell us.
So the Forbes Council is essentially, an invite-based community of senior business leaders or people who have really accomplished something in the industry, people who are influencers, people who have, these are folks who have been invited to share their insights on Forbes.com. So I'll become a contributor on Forbes.com, and I get to access a peer network of people. Oftentimes in like senior leadership roles, you don't have access to the peers who are like-minded and who have the same motivation as you do. So this, there are several different councils. There's a tech council, there's a nonprofit council, there's a business agency council, and so on. So depending on your interest, you get to access different peers.
Wonderful. Well, it's been a pleasure to talk with you. Thank you so much for sharing about this machine learning in the customer success and insights platform at PayPal.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
There you have it. Take it up with Jessica Lee.